engaging celebrity interviews, exciting updates from Christian filmmakers, movie reviews so you can choose your movies wisely, and so much more here on Faith on Film with Isaac Hernandez and Holly McClure.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Faith on Film. I'm Isaac Hernandez here with my co-host, Holly McClure, who, by the way, has a very interesting interview today. How you doing, Holly?
I do. Great, Isaac. Thank you. Yeah, I got to interview Erin Cahill, and she's been in the business for a long time. In fact, I interviewed her for Power Rangers years ago when she was in that. She's been doing a lot of films, but she's especially a Hallmark sweetheart. And so she has done a movie called Journey to You, and I got a chance to interview her about this role. We don't have a trailer yet because it's just being kind of finished up. But let's take a look at the interview.
All right.
I love this movie. I watched it and enjoyed, first of all, the fact that you got your steps in, girl, on this movie, didn't you? Did you keep track of your steps every day? Because I'm like, you walked.
Oh my goodness, that's so funny. We tried, but we didn't have our own cameras and stuff on us. We had the character ones. But oh yeah, I came back from this movie probably the most fit. I mean, we were because we'd have to do those walk talks and then we'd reset and do it again.
Yes.
And then on the weekends, I didn't have a car. I was in Madrid, so I would just walk everywhere. I'd walk like 14,000 steps and 12,000 steps, and yeah, I was like.
You had a ponytail almost the whole movie. So how easy was that? I love
it. I loved it. I do my hair for work, but otherwise I'm like, I toss this sucker up. Or I wear a lot of hats. So I'll do it like one day and then I'll put on a hat for an entire week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Journey to You and let people know what this movie is about. Give us a little brief kind of from Monica's perspective, your character, of what the story's about.
Oh, well, thank you. So A Journey to You is a story about Monica, my character, like you said, in a very relatable position in life. She's worked so hard to get to where she always thought she wanted to go and doesn't get what she thinks she wants. And so she's confronted with, her internal struggles about why was she chasing this thing and what does it actually mean? And what does she actually want? Which I think is so many of us, we get, and I'll speak for myself. I have gotten myopically focused on something as opposed to just being open to what is potentially laid out in front of me that's way better than I could have possibly imagined. And I've also had this experience like Monica had where you come to an internal wall and you just feel like you're stuck and you just need to do something, you need to change it up, you need to break through it. So when you come to this internal wall and you're stuck and then you shake it up and then you realize what's on the other side of that is, and it's right in the title, what's on the other side of that is, you, the divine, your maybe love, but your internal you.
Yes.
And so I think that's part of what's so beautiful about this movie is she goes on this journey, internally and externally, to find herself and her faith in the divine.
She got a job rejection, so to speak.
Yes.
Disappointment at her job. Her mom says, go on this journey on Camino de Santiago. And by the way, folks, this is in Spain. It's a very famous walk that a lot of people go on. You got to go to Spain?
Oh, yes, I did, Holly.
Oh, my God.
Listen, and do you want to know the most amazing? I mean, talk about, like, if you've ever, which we all, I feel like have, gone through different parts of our journey internally and in our faith and all that. Listen, and sometimes there are those massive angel wings where it's undeniable.
Yes.
And the morning I got this offer, I had said to friends, let's meet up in Spain. I've never been. I've always wanted to go the morning of. I couldn't. Yes, literally. So I got the call from my agents and I just started crying. And I said, it's on my heart. I've just always wanted to.
That was a kiss from God because there's no way. That's not even a normal place to go. It's not like, LA or I mean, or Chicago or New York. I mean, Spain, that you said that morning. Wow, that was a God. That was.
I mean, that's one of those things where I literally threw my hands up and I was like in tears and I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love knowing that. And the thing is, she didn't go on this journey to find romance. She went on the journey to find herself. But in the process, she meets this handsome guy played by Eric Valdez, he and a family. So I thought it was even interesting that there were parents. There's a grandfather-grandson relationship. There's a father-son relationship. There's a mother-daughter relationship. There's even the father who's passed with Monica, and her father who's passed, and her heart. So there's a lot of different nuances in this as well that I think is going to also appeal to a lot of people, a lot of the audience.
Thank you for saying that. First of all, thank you for knowing that. And I was just saying earlier that sorry, my little dog is trying to get up next to me on the couch, and it's so cute.
Let him come up.
Oh wait, hold on. She wants to be picked up.
Let her come up.
She's got a big treat in her mouth, and so she was too scared to pop up. But I think that is. I love that you said that because that is part of it. It's so relatable in so many ways, but the multi-generational aspect, which incidentally, their love story is. Oh, are they so precious?
Yes.
I can't even take it. But it's. I mean, I just love them. I love them as actors. I love them as humans. Oh. Pep and Isabel, I love them. Good girls.
It's about that. It has that kind of Bachelorette ending too, where she's standing on the. But okay, it's a Hallmark movie, folks, so it's not going to end bad. Okay, we know that. But anyway, I'll just say I think it has a Bachelorette feel. I'll put it that way, so we go either way for the ending. But
I know what you mean.
Yes. I liked how though it told two nuances of the wisdom from the grandparents, the grandson wanting to get to know his grandfather more, the dad who's a single dad saying, oh son, this trip is about you, and then he finds someone to fall in love with, and then the son's like, well, I thought it was about me. I mean, I'm just trying to say this, folks, to say this isn't just about a couple and their journey on this walk through this to Spain. It involves a lot more, and fun scenes, cooking scenes, and there's a ghost scene, not ghost, but with the clay. You're making a clay.
Oh, yes.
I'm like, you don't play chain, oh, my love. If you don't play that, I was like, that has to be.
Holly, I love that you clocked that, because that's what I said. And I was like, oh, there's like, we're going to do the hands in the clay. Come on, that's such a nod.
Yes. Yeah. It was a ghost moment. It's like, oh my gosh, Patrick Swayze and Demi, I know. I just love that. But it was also natural. It's part of the story. It's very, germane to what's taking place. So coming out of this, it's her journey of faith. Did you already have a strong faith? I mean, clearly when you felt like God told you to go to Spain, but did it affect you in any way? Or were you just too busy to have those moments?
No, I think, and I think faith and spirituality to me is so individual. It's such an individual relationship. And I have friends who have all different versions of it. And for me, that's beautiful. And I love that. And I think actually, for me, I think that's what was intended, is to just find me however you find me, call me what you call me. I think just know that I'm here, and that we are here together. And I think it's such a beautiful thing that binds all of us if we choose to see it. So for me, faith has been such a beautiful part of my journey in so many parts of my life. And it is, like I said, it is a relationship. So, there's been times I felt more connected, and times I've not called in a while, you know what I mean? Or I haven't listened to the call in a while. And because one of my favorite quotes is, what you don't water doesn't grow. And it's interesting, even in the midst of all this chaos, and Holly, we had, instead of 12-hour days, we had 9-hour days on a 15-day shoot. So already we were down 25% of what the time we're used to.
Yes.
So even in all of the mayhem and all of the chaos and all of the, we're losing light, go, you get one take and that's it. And you got most of it. And, even in all of that, and it was wild and fun and amazing. But even in all of that, I absolutely felt the divine everywhere. But it's so easy to do there. I hope people are inspired to go to the Camino. It's truly I can see why people do the pilgrimage. It's truly special.
It really is. My cousin did it with her daughter, and they were grown, and she took her, and they had the great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she walked the whole thing. They did they flew into the whole thing, Barcelona. Yeah, it was amazing, and she
Wow.
was life changing. And her daughter, it was a grown woman, had children, but they went together, and it was just such a great trip. So I thought of her when I watched the movie. In fact, I want to tell her to watch this movie because she'll love it. I have a question to ask. It may be a little hard, not hard, but I want to ask it because this is going to be on Hallmark, correct? Let's tell where they can watch this movie.
Yes. Hallmark Channel proper. I say proper because it's the Hallmark Channel. If you can find it on your local cable. Saturday night, April 19th, the night before Easter, which is, I'm really excited. I think that's a beautiful segue to the holiday. 8 p.m. Pacific and Eastern.
So for all the bad rap that Hallmark has gotten about getting away from, wholesome movies and doing other things or other elements in it, this is one that has faith. This is one of those movies that people can recommend to their families, to their loved ones. Don't you feel? I mean, I really want to stress, this is one of those, it's not woke. It's just a wonderful movie that they can go watch on Hallmark and feel okay about. And if you don't have to speak that, I get it. But I mean, I'm just saying, because we've had this questions asked with our audience. Should we watch Hallmark movies anymore? What's going on, So I just want to encourage people. This is a great movie to watch, especially like you said.
Thank you. And thank you so much for spreading the word of the movie. Thank you so much for sharing about it. Because I just think it has themes everyone can relate to, regardless of what you believe. And that is so beautiful to me. So I think I'm really, really excited to spread the word. So Holly, thank you for spreading that and sharing that.
You're welcome. And I think it's important to bring that up because like I said, it's been controversial. So, and I was excited, like, whoa, Hallmark, good for you. You're really, there was a core audience that loves these movies. There's a core audience that needs and wants these movies, and they've lived with Hallmark for years and years. That's been their station. Obviously for Christmas movies, which you've been in a few of those too, haven't you?
Yes, I have. And so, here's to hoping I get to, also do Christmas this year because I love their Christmas movies. So
yes.
Yeah.
You do. I mean, you're the Christmas girl, I think. But that, and right.
I love
because people start watching those in September, so it's no longer just a month-long thing,
I know. Well, and then they do Christmas in July.
Yes,
it is all year. It's a perennial Christmas.
Well, this is a wonderful. Again, it's called Journey to You. You guys, it's going to be on Hallmark Channel. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be on one night. Is it going to stream later or after, or can they watch it after that?
I need to get confirmation about this, but I do believe. I mean, they'll rerun it for sure. But you never quite know when when they're going to re-air it. So I believe it'll be going to the streaming apps shortly after as well, which I love. I'm not being paid to say this. I genuinely love Hallmark Plus. Like, I think it's so easy. It's because I have so many friends on the network, and sometimes I can't see their movie, and sometimes I record it, but I'm out somewhere. But I always have my app right on my phone or my iPad, and I can pull it up, and I can be like, "Yay, Ashley's movie," or whatever,
Okay, before we go, favorite scene out of doing the whole movie, when you watch it or when you did it, what was one of your favorite moments or scenes in it so that when people watch it, they can go, oh, Erin loved that scene?
Oh, you know what? The first thing that comes to, the first couple things were the horseback riding, the clay, the pottery, which is like magical, right? You don't get to do that very often in life, let alone in your career. But the scene that really I couldn't help but cry every time we did it, 2 takes, but still, was the scene where I'm journaling and I discover my parents' picture and I realized this was the exact place they were. That scene to me, they called cut the first take, and literally the director, the producer, the DP, everybody came up and they're like, we're in tears. We're going to do it one more time for safety. But it just was, and that was all the director's vision. The story, it was hinted at in the story, but he went, what if she finds herself right there? And that was all Terry Ingram.
Oh, that special moment.
But thank you for asking. Thank you.
You're welcome. I just love to do that because then people, when they're watching it, go, oh, she said she liked that scene. You know what I mean? It's just fun to look for that.
I love behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Look for the scenes where we're starting out of breath because we just ran back up a mountain to reset for the first day.
would have been out of breath the whole movie. Okay. But taking 15 feet or 20 feet, I'd have been, excuse me, wait, cut. Because I'm like, I would have been half those lines. Because there's one scene where you guys are talking back and forth and you're walking. I mean, you're talking and walking and it doesn't look like it cut. I'm like, how did she do that scene? I seriously thought about that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we did a few of those that I think ended up getting cut with montages and stuff. But yeah, we did a few of those that we were like, okay, try to put us in something a little more even, guys. Like, yeah.
Well, Erin, I've loved talking to you. Will you please come back for the next project that you have? Come on, we want to go back on Faith on Film because we want to get you back. I love interviewing you again. These many years later, isn't it fun? You were a Power Ranger, now you're on Hallmark.
Also, we are so fortunate, aren't we? Like, thank you. So lucky. Yes. And I'm so happy for you. And also I'm so happy to be reunited. And thank you again. Thank you so much for having me. I will come back anytime. And thank you for spreading the word.
Love you. Thank you. God bless you.
Huge love to you. Thank you so much.
Journey to You will be available, or premieres, I should say, Saturday, April 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. And of course, if you're watching this show after April 19th, it should be available on Hallmark Plus. Say that 3 times fast. Hallmark Plus. Holly, but you've got something special, don't you?
That's right. You know, Journey to You is a very special movie. And in the course of the story, since you haven't seen a trailer and you don't know, it's about this woman who is really rejected from a job position she was trying to take. Mm-hmm. And she feels like a failure. And her mother says, you know, why don't you go on that famous walk that you go across in Spain? And she said, why don't you go on this walk and journey to yourself and take your father's journal with you and be able to, you know, really get your thoughts collected. So she goes on this journey and starts on this journey. At the same time, a young man and his son, he's a single dad, and his parents go on this journey as well, and they all meet up. And it's about how, in tandem, they take this trek. And, of course, through the course of it, they become romantically involved, but also she finds herself. And it's interesting because I won't tell you, but it's got a really interesting plot twist. And you're kind of like, oh, this is typical Hallmark. It's really not. At the very end, you're like, oh, that's a surprise, which, you know, Hallmark never surprises me. I always pretty much can figure the plot out.
I was going to say, they came out with a second plot?
It's like, it actually opened it up. You're like, wait a minute. At the very end, it's this whole thing. And of course, it's a beautiful bow that ties it all together. But in the course of it, she's journaling through, and it plays a very important part of her character. And guess what? Hallmark has come out with this. Well, Dayspring has come out, I should say, Dayspring, with this journal, No Worries, okay? And it's not just journaling. It's also got inspiring scriptures. It's got, you know, words, things you can fill in, and devotionals, and then places you can fill in questions. So we're going to have 2 of these to give away, and maybe a couple more. And so really, this is exciting. If you like to journal and you like this kind of book, again, it's from Dayspring, and it's going to be an important part of the Hallmark story, Journey to You. And Isaac, where can they get a hold of these?
Well, you know what? The best thing to do is for anybody that wants the journal, which should be everybody watching this show.
For our giveaway.
They should just write us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. And then we'll take all the emails and we'll do a drawing. And the 2 that we draw, the first 2 that we draw, we'll go ahead and get that journal to them. How does that sound?
That's right. And be sure to include your name and address, okay, so that we know where to mail it to, okay? And maybe a phone number in there as well in case, because we'll need that for mailing. But yes, that's exciting. I love it when they give us promotional giveaways. I think that's so much fun. This is such a beautiful journal. It really is nice. So again, the story is it's a wonderful fun, but you know, I tell you, and I got to say this. I even asked her this in the interview. You know, Hallmark has had a bad rap for some of the things that they've changed and switched over to, and some of the things that they have let go of as far as their standard, and they've turned into something else. And a lot of people even don't even watch it anymore because of the different themes, I'll say, that they present. But this one, folks, is definitely a spiritual one. It's definitely a Christian one. There's prayer, there's scripture, there's the characters are praying to God to lead them on this journey. And then there's the grandparent and grandson relationship, the single father and son relationship, Erin and her mother relationship, the couples. So it's a lot of dynamics. It kind of hits all the age groups and everyone around. And I would say older kids, 10, 11, 12 and up, would be interested in this because of the little boy. But it's really a good story. And like I said, kudos to Hallmark for doing something that is faith-inspired, and our audience will love it.
Now, is this the same journey that was depicted in the movie with Martin Sheen and I think it was Emilio Estevez? We did a show on the guy that was distributing that movie, right? Is it the same journey?
Yes, we did.
Nice.
And it's a famous walk that a lot of people.
Yeah.
The name escapes me right now, so I can't. A lot of people take this walk.
Yes.
But it's across a whole. It's like a huge trek, hundreds of miles, and you go across for weeks and weeks. It's not like a short thing,
Right.
And I asked her about they got to film in Spain. Well, they did actually sections and segments. Of course, they didn't do the whole walk. So, but she didn't get a lot of walking in there. She got a lot of steps in. I even asked her about that. I'm like, you did a lot of walking because it was uphill. Okay, Isaac, have you ever tried to talk to someone going uphill? So imagine you're doing your lines together, going uphill, and you have to do it 5 or 6 or 7 takes. I'm like, how did you do that?
Yeah, it'd be like if we were doing this show, we would be going, Holly.
Yeah. Ours would be a journey to death if we did it. It would have journey to death. Journey to let's hope that old people can make it. That's what I like.
Now, let me see, Holly. Well, we've got like 5 minutes left, and we wanted to talk about something that probably shouldn't be a surprise to us, but it's a series that came out just recently, and it's doing amazing. We did do a show on it a few shows ago, but it's doing
number 1 and 2 on Amazon. I mean, it really is. John Irwin, hats off to our friend, producer John Irwin.
Yes.
Our friend John Gunn, the director, House of David. Their last show came out. If you haven't seen it, okay, don't want to spoil it, but David and Goliath, guess what happens at the end? Guess what happens? It's the climactic ending. Okay, but I got to tell you, this is different than the Bible story. You saw it, Isaac, right? You've seen the last one?
Yes.
Okay, well, because what happens to David, I'm like, oh, wait. Oh, you've changed it up a little bit. Not dramatically changing the Bible. Okay, and let's talk about that, folks.
Yeah. Yes.
There's comments in social media that, you're changing the Bible and you're changing it up, and Saul's wife wasn't hardly in it, and you're changing it up. Folks, let's get centered here. This is like The Chosen, okay? It's a movie. It's a series. It's a story. It's not verbatim the Bible, word for word told. No, it's taking the story of it and, amplifying the situation and the characters and circumstances. And that's what movies are.
Right.
I'm confused at this concept that you can't do that. What? It's not against the Bible. Now, if he didn't fight Goliath and he went and fought, somebody else and changed the whole story, yes, okay, then you've taken the story and changed it. But if you're going on the biblical story and you're adding to the characters, it's not changing.
Well, here's what changing the Bible would be. That you get rid of all the Bibles that are currently out there on the market. Just get rid of your Bible. In fact, I have one right here. Get rid of this and get a new Bible that's been rewritten. That's changing the Bible. This is basically a drama based on a character in the Bible. You can build all around it. It's the character of the Bible. It's not changing the Bible. I know I'm preaching to the choir, perhaps, and maybe I should get off my soapbox here, but it just really makes me angry sometimes that people take that kind of stance when something like this could cause people, just like The Chosen, to go, let me read a little bit more about this David guy, and they go and read the Bible.
And they are. Muslims are watching this. People who are atheists are watching this. People who didn't believe are watching it. And guess what? They're converting. They're changing. They want to know more about the Bible. They're opening the Bible to read the story. That's what this does. It's what The Passion did. What The Chosen does. I'm telling you, folks, don't go against the very thing that's winning souls, the very thing that is being a ministry to the world through a medium that reaches the world. We don't need to, cut it down and tear down our own that are trying to minister in a different kind of missionary way. Right. And it is that they're trying to do it in ways we shouldn't be condemning it unless it really was, like Isaac said, against everything. But it's not. I'm so proud of this series, what they're doing.
I'll tell you what, let's just give the viewers a little bit of a taste if they haven't seen it. Let's give them a little bit of the taste with this trailer, all right?
Okay.
Can one stone change the course of history?
God! Send me your champion. Goliath!
Can one act of defiance create the legend? I will tell you the story of David, a simple shepherd boy.
Why do my brothers get to fight? And I'm stuck here.
David, you are not a man of blood.
An outcast who became one of the most famous kings who ever lived.
God does not see what man sees. He sees into the heart. And you have the heart of a lion.
The Philistines have assembled.
I saw the print of a hand, larger than a weaver's basket.
They have a giant.
What?
My king, I will fight the giant.
Fight him with the same spirit you bring into this room.
You play music for my father. Now he chooses you as champion. How will you do this?
It's not about the greatness of the giant. It is about the greatness of God.
Are you afraid?
Terrified.
I believe in you.
So, as the fate of a people hangs in the balance, again I ask this question. Can one stone change the course of history?
I just watched that and it's fun. In fact, I went back and we watched a couple of episodes again so I could see it again. And I just love it. You know, what exciting is season 2 is filming right now in Greece, which means that it got picked up for this. Pretty sure Amazon's going to be wanting a 4 or 5 year. You know how they do with seasons and they want you to do it. And think about it. I mean, that leads all House of David, takes it all the way to his adulthood and on to Solomon. I mean, it could go really literally for 5 seasons.
That's good.
Michael Alexander, I can't pronounce his last name, but the one who plays David, and he's a sweetheart. He is beginning in this season 2, but then it's going to transition into an adult David. So it's just
awesome.
It's like a pause. We're encouraged to see we're taking a main place again in entertainment. For so long, Christian entertainment wasn't considered much, and you and I have been around long enough to know when it wasn't, and no one paid attention to it.
Right.
And then to see it decade after decade slowly increasing and improving. Exciting to see us number 1 and number 2 on Amazon. I'm so excited.
That's awesome.
Yay.
Well, Holly, that's it for today. I'm sure we'll have more updates, maybe even on this series, because I'm telling you, it's one of the best things I've seen out there on TV. So I'm sure we'll probably talk about it some more in some future shows. But for now, that's all the time we have, Holly.
God bless. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye now.
Write to us at faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. That's faithonfilmtv@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Faith on Film TV. Also, go to our YouTube channel, Faith on Film TV, and hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications on our latest Faith on Film shows.